Alright guys, it's here. Hello, welcome to another Train Sim World 2 video. Cane Creek, or Creek, in Utah from the guys at Skyhook, who have made a ton of stuff. They got the new lawn mowing simulator, which I personally wouldn't want to play that because I gotta mow a ton of lawn in real life, so I'll just stick to the real life version. But anyway, they've made stuff for Train Simulator as well. Not to mention a couple of models they had their hand in with the original Train Sim World and this as well. So we're going to see what they got for us here. Anyway, it released today, just a moment ago. You get a UPAC 44CW, SD42, both in Union Pacific livery, of course. You get some hoppers for the Potash and some very incorrect cars for the hot dirt. You get like 12 scenarios, 24-hour timetable, all kinds of stuff. Anyway, let's click on it. First look. Let's see what it's got to offer. Let's see. We'll do one training. We'll do the introduction here.
Welcome to the Cane Creek Subdivision. We're currently at the mine in Potash, Utah, which is the largest supplier of traffic on our route.
Loud? This is traffic. I don't even see any traffic. It's loud as hell.
Let's begin exploring. Follow the markers down to the tracks.
Well, we got a new narrator. I was thinking it was going to be Mr. Peddleson again, but I gotta say, man, right off the bat, the scenery looks pretty damn good. I'm not gonna lie. I'll go ahead and throw my frame counter up there as well. Let's double check my settings just so you know what I'm working with here. Screen percentage 150. I'm gonna crank that bad boy all the way up to 200. Ultra. Everything else is on ultra. Let's see what happens. All right, so I'm getting about 33. I've got a very modest system. It's a potato. Did these crossing lights just come on? I feel like they weren't on a moment ago. Anyway, the scenery looks amazeballs. I am not even going to beat around that bush. It looks really good. Wow. Wow. Oh my God, I do have some INI settings tweaked as well, so this may not look one-to-one with what you have, etc. You may have some different stuff. But let's stand right on the railroad tracks like a numpty. Let's see. We'll follow the directions. We'll explore a bit later.
A train has just finished loading.
Whoa!
Let's hop on board and go for a ride.
All right. Dude, the sun setting over that butte right there, the canyon wall, that looks amazing. That show is pretty. Pop a squat. Alright, so again, we get the SD40-2 in Union Pacific livery. Oh, I'm not even driving. Hello, miss. Alright. We got the hot seat. Kick her feet up. She didn't waste any time. Still pretty good frames. About 32.
There is much to do here on the Cane Creek Subdivision. Control heavy tonnage over the rugged and scenically beautiful Cane Creek branch.
Mucho. Mucho, mucho. Alright, is he going to talk anymore? I
Haul potash from the mine up to the main line.
Yep.
Or operate the trains of a uranium mine cleanup site.
I will admit, I do like how the rail cars are different. Now they all say DTGX, which, but I do like how they are multicolored. It's not a string of the same.
Journey across open, arid plains and through narrow canyons past towering rock cliffs.
Thank you. How it's not a string of the same cars, you know. So, where are we going there, engineer?
Take control of your train and enjoy the challenges of this scenic branch line.
Cue non-playable footage. Oh, I'm sure it'll have that at the end of this session here. God, that vista, though.
We've only explored a small area here, so let's take a look at what else there is to enjoy.
That vista looks
Welcome
great.
to Cane Creek.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Experience Utah's rugged canyons and remote desert country as you battle steep grades and haul heavy tonnage with contemporary Union Pacific diesel power.
Rah!
With Skyhook Games Train Sim World 2 Cane Creek. Along the way, don't forget to top up the water dispensers. Pick up spiking hammers. Pick up high visibility vests.
The office water
And
cooler.
place points of interest posters on the point of interest boards. Welcome to Cane Creek.
Is it just me, or did that video look worse than the actual gameplay? It looked like it was recorded on a Nintendo 64. All right. Let's take a look at the AC-44C dub. We'll take a look at that. Then we'll hop in and check out different parts of the route. This is probably going to be a fairly lengthy video. I want to try and go over as much of it as possible. Let's do one more. Let's see. All right, here it is. The main squeeze of the route, I guess. We know from preview shots and whatnot that it's got some funky things going on. There were a couple of media shots that were completely different.
Welcome to Potash. In this training module, we'll learn about operating the Union Pacific General Electric AC-4400 CW. The big AC-4400 CW is an example of state-of-the-art U.S. diesel locomotives with 4,400 horsepower and AC traction. You'll be the engineer of the 2-unit lash-up right in front of you. Let's begin by preparing the units for service.
Okay. The tracks.
Almost all
Jesus.
trains on the Cane Creek subdivision use two
This is
or
my
more
fault for doing
locomotives
the
on the
training.
head end. We thus have to set up the diesels accordingly
Okay.
as lead and trailing units.
Alrighty.
Let's start by climbing aboard the trailing unit, which is the one farther to our left.
We will. We'll get right on that. Just want to have a look around real quick. The tracks look different. They actually look pretty good. Got some cement sleeper action going on. The ballast looks okay. It's got a mix of that kind of arid region, you know, sandy brown. But in some of the pre-release footage and photos I saw, it looked really weird. Maybe they fixed it. Maybe it's just this area that looks really good. But it does look really good. I mean, everything is a little bit bright. If I'm gonna, you know, nitpick at something, but that just could be the uranium tailings, you know, leaking into the Colorado River, affecting the flora and fauna and whatnot. Kidding, of course, but yeah, the tracks look all right. The sleepers, the ballast, big facility. All right, we'll see what's going on with this thing, and then we'll free cam around the route in a little bit here. All right, still no window on the door. Now, some of these had ditch lights in different positions. I feel like they changed them. I feel like they changed them several times. Because some of these units had ditch lights up high. This one has them down low. Some had numbers up on the brow. These are obviously not on the brow. But one of the glaring issues I've had with this unit from day one, looking at the photos, is look how high this thing is riding off the chassis and the trucks. You could stand in between there, and your head wouldn't hit the roof there. That should have been dropped a solid like half a foot. You know, just saying. It looks really funky. Got a fake GE sticker. CWA 44AC. Apparently there's a couple of liveries as well. There's like a clean and a dirty variant. Alright, see what it wants us to do. Walk around the porch here. Dude, I gotta say, man, the scenery, you know, if this was just like a scenery simulator, it'd be pretty darn sweet as of right now.
Any trailing locomotive must have its control stand disabled so that it can receive commands from the lead unit. Check that the control, fuel pump, and engine run switch are in the off position.
Check it out. Alright, so we're not using this puppy. We got the other one back there.
Trailing units must also have their brakes set to cut out and trail. This is the default setting for all running locomotives at scenario start, so we can move on to the lead locomotive now.
Oh, you can't open the poo closet. I know a ton of train simmers out there will just be mortified at that. Sorry. Once again, toilet not modeled. Alright, it literally just told us to change the brake cutout, right? But then now it's telling us to go back. Run! Alright, yes, I could have gone across, but there's like, you know, 10 different steps you got to take to go across in the game, so I just did it like that.
This is our lead engine. In other words, the unit will be operating from.
That's a bald
We
head.
must thus switch on its controls.
Alright. Gen field on.
Our engine's controls are now active. Now we need to set the brakes for lead and cut-in, which we can do on any one of the 3 screens located on the control desks.
Right on. Yeah, I was thinking I was in a Dash 8 for a minute. Where's the handle? That was weird. There was a noticeable, audible difference between standing up and sitting down. Like we entered another dimension. Alright, so let's cut them in. Alright, auto brake cut in, independent lead. Save it.
Our 2 units are now ready to go to work. Set the reverser forward, release the brakes, and apply a little throttle. Then carefully proceed to the destination marker and stop there.
Alright, let's have a quick look around here. Alright, window's obviously still open. This essentially looks like the sand patch engine to a degree. I mean, they obviously use that as the base model, right? So we got the heaters. See what else we got back here. Engine stop. Number lights, we'll pop those on. What's that? Let's see. Radio's usually off. Distributed power off. Window heaters, refrigerator. There we go. Crew entrance. We'll just leave that open for the time being. Alright, set the power handle to notch 2 to get going on the steep gradient. Yes, we're sitting on a 0.8 right now. Release the brakes.
The path to your destination has been set for you in this scenario. Please be aware that there are numerous manual switches on the Cane Creek subdivision, and the engine crew must always ensure the switches ahead are aligned properly for its movements.
Numerous. Alright, stop location. Potash sighting to center. I say Potash. They say Potash. Some people say Potash. I say Potash. Potash. Tomato, tomato. Alright, let's check out the exterior. See, it didn't tell us to put the headlights on. I feel like stuff like that in a training module, you know, as well as other things, are fairly important. Ah! Alright, well there's your same horn from Sandpatch Grade. Now, should it have been better upon release? Absolutely. Should it be left up to the modding community to fix stuff like this? No. Absolutely not. But is it fantastic that some people take it into their own hands to do so? Yes. Absolutely it is. But, you know, it seems like with the North American stuff, with Train Sim World and Train Simulator for that matter, it's very rare that it is legit, you know. It's a shame. Okay, well that was abrupt. I didn't. You got a gold star for speeding 70% of the time. All right. Let's see. We're gonna take a look at this through and through. So, Cane Creek. This is essentially the Union Pacific Green River subdivision. It goes from Brendel, Utah to Potash, Utah, of course for the name that the Potash mine is. And it's a total of 35 miles. Let's see. What should we hop into here? Let's take a look at the scenario, see what we got here. Working the main line, siding to siding. There's quite a few scenarios, and some of them are fairly short. Wowzers. 7 mile to Potash. Alright, we're not going to do a scenario. We're going to do timetable. See what it shows us here. So I think that's a clean variant. There's your dirty boy. Doherty bugger. Alright, we'll throw it on summer clear. We'll try and get the most maximized sunlight and lighting. Because when you're trying to show something in any train sim in the dark, it's not very good. And it's hard to see what's going on. So let's see. Operate the dirt train from Brendel to Moab. Special service moves contaminated soil from a uranium mine cleanup project. It's 5 a.m. It might not be so bright yet, but we'll click on it, see what it's got to do here. Anyway, overall, the route has got grades of up to 1.2%. It's got almost a sawtooth style grade over, you know, a pretty solid length. I think it's got 3 peaks. It's got a couple of tunnels. the main tunnel that brings you off the main line into the canyon is the bootlegger tunnel. That's pretty cool. All right, we're not doing that. And something that I just noted right away, why the F is the traffic so loud? You should not be able to hear the traffic that loud. That needs to be corrected. Will it ever be corrected? Probably not. But that is a problem. That is a big problem. That was extremely loud. Alright, let's continue here. So, loaded cars at Moab siding. Let's see. I kind of want to do like an end-to-end deal here. I want to look at one end and then the other. Take a look at the map overall. Alright, switching at Potash. Alright, let's see what this is. This is going swimmingly. But anyway, the line is an X, D and RGW, Durango and Rio Grande, of course, which Union Pacific now owns. It's got 3 summits, like I said. It does potash, refined mixes of potassium used for fertilizer. So it's a huge industry, potash. Dude, that traffic. That is insane. Does no one test this stuff? I honestly wonder. Like, why is the traffic so friggin' loud? That it's getting, you know, it's getting my it's making my rage come out. That traffic loudness. It's just weird. Did anybody test that? Anyway, back onto my my monologue. Anyway, it's a refined mix of potassium. There's a couple of ponds down here, and they look pretty cool. If you look on GPS maps in real life, it's several ponds of it, and they're multicolored. They look crazy. Anyway, Morrison Knudsen built the branch. I think rail service began in the 60s, like mid-60s on the line. It was projected to move something like 12,000 tons a day, but it never really got that high, though still fairly high. Let's see, so that's the mine. The Atlas Uranium Mill is just on the other side, back the other way from where we're at, just north of Moab, founded in the 50s, closed in 1984, leaving 12 million tons of uranium tailings behind, which are mildly radioactive. So there's been a cleanup process of that going on. So in 2001, the Department of Energy began cleaning it up with specialty rail cars, and the crews that carry them have kind of like buffer cars, kind of like when they haul oil or ethanol or something like that. They'll have a hopper or box car or whatever they have kind of in between the containers, and they'll take those containers not too much farther down the line to a kind of a crypt, like a giant crypt in the ground, and of course they'll bury them there. The main focus, of course, is to get those uranium tailings away from this beautiful water source right here, the Colorado River. So they don't want those leaking into it. But I gotta say, man, I'm, again, for like the 12th time, sitting here blabbing away. The scenery looks fantastic. Now, I am starting to see some of the weirdness with, you know, the ground, the ballast and whatnot. It's just, it's not very raised up. It just looks like dirt kind of, and the way it just contrasts from that darkness to the lightness so quickly and so just abrupt and messy. That's not a good look. You know, when you look at it from back here like this, that is not a good look. When you look at it down here, you know, it's all right, but you're not really going to be down here. You're going to be like here. So that's kind of funky. All right, so where are we at? We're pretty much at the end of the line. We're down at Potash. Potash. Let's see. I had to get me a swig of water. Sorry about that. All right, so yeah, there's the end of the line down there. Basically, this is south, obviously. East that way, west that way, north that way. So the line goes up, crawls through the canyon, and then hits a pretty major tunnel, and then goes out on. There's kind of a valley through here, the fertile valley of Moab, that goes on up to the main line and the junction up here, which let's see how far it actually goes. Here it is. So we actually do have some mileage of the actual main line, which is I guess that's kind of neat, but is it used? Are we going to be able to go anywhere beside these couple of sidings right here? I guess we shall find out. I mean, there's some rolling stock up there. You can obviously see it on the map. Anyway, alright. Free cam it. So, after my raging out about the traffic, I don't hear it anymore. It's like when it loads in, you hear it, and then it's silent. Silent. Maybe they're all Teslas. Electric automobiles. I can hear like mourning doves. I can hear like an eagle or a hawk or whatever. A falcon. What is that I hear? Oh, it's the engines. I thought it was a car. It is definitely not a car. But it does look good out here. I mean, that doesn't really need to be gone over. Even the distant, that's pretty far, right? This rock face. And it still looks really nice. But it's kind of cool. There's trails and little dirt roads back here because this is a pretty, I guess you could say, fairly popular area with hiking and whatnot. So I think there's a national park out here, and there's a ton of trails and stuff like that. But good night, this is beautiful out here. It really is. Still getting pretty decent frames. When I look at the train itself, they go down a little bit. One thing that does look funky right off the bat is that distant canyon face over there, like the really distant one. But you know, I am for the most part totally cool with this mixed hopper look. You know, it's not the same friggin' colored hopper over and over, super clean, whatever. It's mixed up, which is nice. That's nice to see. Anyway, here's the end of the line. This is essentially built for this potash mine. Here's our office water coolers. I don't know if those are there in real life. That would be interesting. They would seem like they would melt in the sun or something like that. But yeah, we got some old rail down here, some steel cable rolls, whatever the hell they are. There goes the highway continuing on around. Got some more stuff over there. It does look good out here, and it's got that new, you know, skybox as well, of course, like all the new routes, which does look better on some occasions, not all. I typically tend to go for summer. We'll see if we can climb up the rock face. Here's another trail. But these rocks, man, you look like you're on Mars or something. They look amazing. Ah, it won't let us go up there. Dang it. Sometimes you can kind of work your way up there. Unfortunately, that's not the case this time. Let's see if we can check out the facility. See how far it'll let us go before it boots me to the main menu. So back there somewhere are the actual potash ponds. I wonder if you can see them. I don't think you can. Yeah, I guess they didn't model them. It kind of sucks, man, because they're cool looking. They're like bright pink, multicolored, purple, white. They're like the different phases, and depending on how strong the potassium that's being made into fertilizer, you know, just shows what kind of different color, what it looks like and stuff. But you cannot see those, unfortunately. There's a bit of a funky looking thing there. But for the most part, it looks pretty good out here. Now, sadly, in real life, this region right here, the bit down into the canyon, and I think the whole line in general sees one train a week, maybe two, maybe an extra, something like that. So to why they chose this, I get it. It's beautiful. They had this place in their arsenal that was kind of a preset, area, if you will, graphically. But the fact that it's not very busy is kind of an odd choice, which a lot of people had, qualms and questions about that to begin with. Naturally, it's only natural. But whatever they did, I guess they just added some extra stuff for whatever reason. Is it prototypical and realistic? Absolutely not. But then again, this being a game, if this were just down to one service a week, that would be fairly boring. But yeah, I mean, I don't really know what else to say about that. The water looks pretty good, I must say. Like, some water looks like dog crap. Isle of Wight, excuse me. But this looks pretty good. Look at the facility. It's got to be the foreman there in his Audi A6 or Q6. It's Q6, right? SUV, it's a Q6, I think. But this bit over here in the elevator and all looks pretty good. It's very crispy. Very crispy. I wonder if you can climb up there. Got the stop sign and the cross bucks. There's one of our little posters there. If you're into collectibles, I'm not, but if I'm next to it, I'll grab it. I wonder if you can crawl up our... I don't know where you'd go. There's no door there, but okay. It does look good though. Like asset-wise, looks pretty nice. Looks aight. Am I stuck? There we go. Got another crossing here. I think this is where we started in the intro. Got your other sign. That does look good, man. Just that shot right there, looking up that path, that road. That looks pretty nice. Now the bushes, I can't be the only one that's going to notice this, or can't be the only one that's going to say something about it. It's very green. Some very green kind of reused bushes, which, it's Utah. It's fairly arid. The signs look pretty good. That whole mast stuff on red signal. Hey there! Is that how it works? Yeah, those look alright. Now, what's going on there? Okay, that one looks legit, but the base of this one, it's like they used the the earth itself. Got a digger over here doing something. Burying a random pile of bricks in the ground. Maybe they're uranium bricks. Got a little pond. This must be some sort of... And... okay. That is interesting. Why they wouldn't just add a complete asset and a fourth wall and a roof is beyond me, but that's weird. I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens. So that's interesting. Must be like a pump house or something to get water out of the river for the manufacturing of potassiums. And we got a little floating building here. That's kind of stupid. I'm just blunt. I'm sorry if that sounds a bit mean, but it's things like this that you see and you wonder, does anyone look at this stuff before it's released? And my own answer to that would probably be not very good. Dude, I like how you see the reflection of the canyon in the water, though. That is amazing. If this were just like a hiking simulator, it'd be the bee's knees, man. It looks good. That's our crossing. So we got the crossings marked. A little utility Connex. Man, that still sucks you can't see the pools up there. Go look at them on GPS, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's very unique looking. It's crazy. You definitely wouldn't want to drink it, but it looks like some Kool-Aid or something. See if we can climb up here. See how long it'll let us go. Like the top of a volcano right here. Another path going up the mountainside there, canyon. Cars. That's super weird, man. So the cars make no noise except when you load in, and it sounds like, you know, you're about to be ran over by a mob of soccer bombs. Another cross buck right there. Cool. All right. Just heard a weird noise. There's our very clunky sounding. There's our speed boards 2020 with Barbara Walters. Dude, I gotta say, man, like, if it's just the scenery alone looks phenomenal. But again, like down here, this is important, man. It's a train sim, and a lot of what you're going to be staring at is the track right ahead of you. And when it's, you know, it's just super jagged, just kind of weird. You know, I bought this product. I'm going to be nitpicky about it. Some people think that you should just buy it and accept what you get. I'm not one of those people. So if I see something that I don't think is totally legit, then I'm going to say something about it. But that could have been fixed. Maybe blended a bit more better. Because it looks kind of funky, if I'm honest. But anyway. See what we got here. That's got to be the mile marker, because what is it? What I say? I think it's like 36 miles, something like that. So that looks about right. Let's see what we got down here. Jug handle arch. All right, so it's up there somewhere. Where's that? There's another kind of weird feature as well. That's cool. It's just there's a little path that goes up in the canyon there. These are real places, by the way, too. IRL. This is a like a whoa. It's like that scene in Independence Day. That massive shadow there. Yeah, these are legit places that you know, are national parks, state parks, all that. People come out and hike and stuff like that. It'd be amazing to come out here in real life. Whoa! Okay. Something is seriously wrong with the traffic sounds. It's like you get right there by that sign. And other places, oh my God! I would rather almost just have that gone, you know, entirely. Just my preference, because that's quite annoying. And it's silent again. That's really weird. Must be like certain, you know, marked areas on the map where the sound begins. See how far it'll let us go here before it, if you go too far, it'll sometimes boot you back to the menu. Not allowed! You cannot free cam! I do like the scrub they got down here next to the river. It looks alright, but still, man, just the scenery-wise, this the right of way and the friggin' ballast just kill it for me. Absolutely bludgeon it. But the rocks look cool, man, and they're different, you know, from one to the next. It's not the same kind of crap over and over. That looks all right, though. Did we miss that arch? I think it's called the Corona Arch. Corona. Very flat wall. So it's obviously way up off the highway now. I'll keep on flying. There are a couple of washes through here. I think I've looked on GPS on the Google Mappage, and I think there's a couple of bridges, a couple of washes, if I'm not mistaken. What is that? Oh, that's Arosa scenery. That's what that is. Okay, I wonder how that got here. Way in the background. Maybe it got lost, or it's trying to hide. All right, so we got another little parking area for the camping and hiking and whatnot. And again, with these buildings, like what is that? What the what? Why is that a thing? I mean, is that like to save frame rate or something? How many frames did that save? 0.00032? Very confusing. Alright, so we're back up on the rail bed. Alright, so it branches away from the highway a bit, right, y'all? I do like that that scrub brush down there along the riverbank, though. That's pretty cool, man. Man, it is pretty. Just that rail bed. There it is. There's the COVID arch. Watch, the YouTube algorithm is gonna like hide my video because I mentioned Corona and COVID. YouTube algorithm do not like those words. That's it. That's cool. They made it. That's legit. Anyway, what I was going to say is I hope a modder can somehow fix this. I don't know how they would do it. If I know how to do it, I would do it. I'm very dumb when it comes to stuff like that, but it just kills it. It just looks like mud or something. And then it's just, oh, nice dry sand. Mud, sand, mud. It's funky, you know? Real funky. Missing some stuff back, chow. Alright, here's the bootlegger tunnel. It's a good thing there's two office water bottles. Water dispensers here at Bootlegger Tunnel. That is quite interesting. Alright, so we pretty much looked at that. Let's hop back out, look at another section. But anyway, in real life in this area, you'll see traditional, 6 axles working the line. Every now and then, you'll see some dual axles, I guess, or 4 axles, if you want to say, working it. It's not that the trains that come from Potash are very heavy. It's just because of the grade, I guess, is the main dealio. We'll get in the Dash 2s this time. Alright, so obviously with the Dash 2, you've got a very severe lack of service options. Alright, so we did switching Potash, right? The map is throwing me off. You see how the map is orientated like this? This is actually like south. And the way it's laid out, it's weird. So I wouldn't pay much attention to that map in the menu here. So there's only like 2 in the daytime. Wow. All right, this is a local delivery. Empty hoppers from Grand Junction to Potash. Potash. This is switching at Potash. And that is Thompson. Now it's 18:05. That's not very late, especially being out in the desert. There should be ample sun. We'll take a look at the other extreme of the map, see what this looks like. But it's, I gotta say, it's a shame that they couldn't, for one, model a new engine for this route, right? I mean, it's kind of just reused stuff. You know what I mean? So it's like, man, that sun, though. Wow. Coming down the side of that is so pretty. That is really pretty. Brings a tear to my salty little eye. But the fact that they couldn't give us some new engines or upgrade them in any way possible, and then, kind of give the shaft to the uranium tailings specialized car. They're like boxes on flat cars, essentially, and they're transloaded via like a crane or a piece of machinery onto the flat car. Now, they said the reason we didn't get that kind of car is because they couldn't get the animation of said thing happening, but still, make the damn car anyway. Like, it's things like that that really put people off with a lot of Train Sim World stuff, to be honest. Some UP hoppers. It's nice that these are mixed, though. I will give them that. Not the same damn hopper over and over again. Alright, and it is extremely dark, and we are in the same spot. I swear we were going to start at the end of the line. That map threw me off again. I looked at it, even though I said don't look at the map because it's not orientated right. Let's take another look here. Summer. Alright, so obviously I think the 44s are going to have the most services. Yeah. Alright, returns to Brendel. Unloading a Brendel, switching Potash. Alright, return to Grand Junction. Are there any that start there? This is confusing because the map is weird. Loading at Moab. This right here is the uranium site. Atlas Uranium Mine used to be there, and all that's left is an absolute mega metric butt ton of uraniumized dirt. Spicy dirt. Or according to some, Dovetail articles, just dirt. Let's see. So that goes to Thompson. Is there anything that starts in Thompson? I'm highly confused here. We'll do the Moab. We'll look at Moab real quick. I just got an achievement for operating a -2 for 5 miles, and we most certainly did not even move the thing. Ah! Why? Stop. Stop. So it's like central areas where you hear the traffic. And look, there's no actual traffic. That is most irritating. Alright, so here's Bootlegger Tunnel, guys. This is where you go through down to Potash. And by the way, I'd like to note there's a little area down there called MK, EMKAY, and a neat little fact: this section of the railroad was built by Morrison Knudsen, so they named the siding MK for, you know, M Morrison, K Knudsen. So a little bit of random, completely useless history for you there. All right, this area looks weird. It doesn't really look like this in real life. Just gonna flat out say that. Now these look new, I think. I don't remember seeing these in anything else in Train Sim World. But that's what would transfer the, I'm doing air quotes, dirt onto the awaiting flat cars, which would be, you know, parked down there. But that down there is all where they would just pile on that spicy radiation dirt. Nuclear dirt. Rad dirt. I'm trying to come up with a quick phrase, but it's not happening. Anyway, it was all piled down here, and you can see how close it is to the Colorado River. And that's why they're currently trying to move it. That would make Greta most happy. So anyway, it just looks like some stone hoppers, like some maintenance away type cars. Are those supposed to be... I don't know what's going on here, man. Like... I don't know, but anyway, you can see this is the valley. That's Moab right there. Where we're facing, that is the town of Moab, and it's kind of in a little fertile valley because the river does kind of a horseshoe around there, so it's very green, a lot of farmland, pretty good sized town down in there. And then, of course, that way as well is the Rocky Mountains, Colorado, and all that good stuff. Here's your highway, which goes up to Grand Junction, which Grand Junction is kind of northwest Colorado, so that's up this way. But anyway, this goes up to the main line here. See what else. So we got more transfer sites. I like that. I like the little bit of dirt and gravel they put on the road. I don't know if they meant to do that, but I like that. That's pretty neat. They could just, you know, do that everywhere else as well, you know? Just saying. Travel down here. Looks like we got some kind of power station, substation. But yeah, it's totally different in here. Obviously, the river's way down there. It's a massive valley. You know, compared to the canyon we were just in. And let's see, yeah, the ballast and track itself still looks kind of weird. I'd also like to note I'm still getting pretty good frames. We're not near an actual train right now, but I'm still getting about 30. Mind you, I've got the settings maxed out and the screen resolution at 200%, so it'd probably be a lot higher with those down a bit. Got some shops and stuff down there. This is pretty as well. This little bit of the route here. I was thinking it was all going to be mainly, you know, good looking in the canyon bit. I mean, this is technically a canyon too, but it's a little bit different. A lot more open. Just follows the highway. Alright, so that is through the tunnel. So we look down here, right? Potash came up through here. That's Moab. And then the line goes down here. I wonder what these are. A couple of sidings right here. Honestly, don't know what those are. But it's a pretty good length. Anyway, let's see if we can't actually get to Brendel for freak's sake. Does anything start there? Does anything happen there? It seems like everything is all at Moab and Potash, and then you go that way, you know? Let's see, loading Moab, return to Brendel. I want to leave Brendel. Unloading at Brendel. Thank you. Alright, hopefully this is it. Alright, let's have a look. Oh my god. Run away! Run away! Stop! That is a thumbs down just for that right there. I hope they fix that. Me no likey. It's ridiculous. Alright, so we are finally in Brendel. It's a lot more flat out here. We got this kind of ugly repetitive texture going on the wall there. The embankment. Definitely a lot more flat, so this is obviously the main line up here. Got some more of these maintenance away cars. I guess these are the cars we got instead of the actual spicy dirt cars. Yep. Signals look alright. I don't know the exact model of what signal is out here, to be honest. I'm not even going to pretend, but they look like they're modeled pretty well. Alright, so we gotta unload something. Yeah, I don't think this area got as much care, if I'm honest. You know, it's desert. It seems very green. There's a lot of grass. The distant, you know, stuff doesn't look as good. But this is the main line up here. This is the main line bit that you get. Let's see how long. Let's see how far it'll let me run down here. So we're headed west right now. There's another one of those, which I'm not sure why that would be out here. I don't know if there's a trail out here. Speedboard 60-70. One, of course, for freight, the other for passenger. It's like a little dry creek bed coming down the mountainside there. See how far it'll let us go. Got some weird looking artifacts out there. Yeah, this out here is very plain. Just being brutally honest, it's this auto-gen way that. And there's that traffic again. Back to you in the studio, Bob. God. So it's like you obviously hit a marker or a certain area on the map, right? And it plays a loop, a recording, if you will, of that god-awful noise. People testing this, that's the thing that's often fought back with the whole thing about, do people test this stuff? And you know, Dovetail and its white knights are always like, yes, it's tested, blah. But it's, you know, is it a matter of if it's tested and Dovetail and, you know, Rivet, Skyhook, whoever, are told and they just don't care. They're like, yep, thanks for letting us know. We're not going to do a thing about it. You know, is it one of those things? Or, I don't know. Got the crossings down here. They're dinging. There's obviously no train in sight. But I think they just go off indefinitely, which is not very cool. I mean, it's cool they go off, but not forever. Just on or off type of deal. The hoppers do look pretty good. I like the weathering on them. I think some peeps will make some. We got some tankers too. Some tankers. I think some peeps will make some skins and stuff like that. And there we go with the traffic. Jesus. All right, that is really starting to anger me. That's making me very not happy. Got some tornado magnets out here. It's like some retiree villages. And it doesn't go much farther down that way, I don't believe. So I'll head back. Oh. For fudge's sake, is that necessary? Jesus. I'm trying to remain calm, but that is driving me nuts. I feel like a friggin' animal trying to bust out of a cage. Alright, so where are we at? So that's us right there. Which way did we head? That's the head end. Oh no, we went behind us, so we went west. I thought we were going east. I'm an idiot. Yeah, it's the head of the train, so that's facing east. We were going west. No, we were going east. So this is west. That's a little spur right there. See how far that goes. Goes over the highway here, or under it anyway, not over it. We got the arms, of course we know, you know, from talkings of staff and whatnot. Those are not animated for whatever reason. Said they'd look at fixing them at a later date, but as we know from Clinchfield and the RS3 not being added to the SD40 by now, that's as likely as, you know, pigs flying, hell freezing over, all that good stuff. I would love to be proved wrong, because it means it would be fixed, and I would be fine with that. But until then, I don't think it's going to happen. All right, again, no traffic. Oh, it's a good thing they got some water dispensers down here for the urban campers, if you will. But yeah, that's it. Let's see. We look down there. That's obviously some sort of Y. I don't know if that's a legit line or they just turn engines around there. But that is it. That is a look at the route itself. We'll take another quick look at the 4400. Prepare yourselves for the ridiculous traffic noise. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Naturally, to spite me, it didn't do it that time. Naturally. Yeah, so they fixed the railing, I guess. The railings were wrong initially. I don't know if that's what they went back and fixed something, but they didn't tell anyone what was going on, and I tried to ask in an official Dovetail stream, and I was silenced by one of the Dovetail goose-stepping moderators. So we don't know what they fixed. It would be nice to know what they fixed, but I guess we'll never know. The paint looks alright. I mean, it's, you know, for the extreme nitpickers, it's not going to be good enough. That's without question. That's like anything in Train Sim World, honestly. But I think the yellow is a bit orange. I feel like it should be a little bit more yellowy, whitey. It looks like it's got a lot of red in it or something. Of course, it's riding extremely high. It looks very funky. I mean, the corners and you know, where bits of the model meet each other and the angles look okay. Oh man, I don't really think I need to touch on that. I like the weathering up here. I'll give them that, man. The crap just spewing down the top here, you know, as if it were in a trail or DPU situation. All the oil and just exhaust and just crap and gunk. That does look all right. Now, I think these stone cars or maintenance way hoppers, whatever you want to call them, I think we got these from the Caltrain route. There's just some different graffiti, urban art on there. But it's very repetitive. There's not very many cars. But that's it, guys. A quick look at the route itself. I plan to do an actual run. We'll go from Brendel to Potash or Potash to Brendel or something like that in the next video. But I just want to do a quick look at the route and just get that out of the way. Let you see what you're in for as far as frames and what it looks like, what kind of services you got, all kinds of stuff. A little bit of history about the route itself, but it's a very neat area. But I hope to see you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Take care. I'll see you next time.